Welcome to the Anonymous Andrew podcast. Life and the choices we make. The choices other people make. Why we choose to ignore the red flags. Red flags like gaslighting, cheating, addiction, mental illness, and much more. What role do they play in relationships? Follow me each week as we discuss these topics with anonymous guests and experts to hopefully become better humans, resulting in better choices. Like I say, been there, still doing that. Now on to the show. Greetings, Anonymous Andrew. Weekend Rant. That's what I'm going to be calling it from now on. So it is Saturday night. It's kind of late. It's 10 o'clock. I have had a very long day. You know, you work Monday through Friday. And, of course, I go to these meetings at night. And it doesn't leave time to do my to-do list. So weekends comes around and the laundry has to get done. The food shopping has to get done. The basic cleansing of my home. I'm not talking about a deep cleaning, just keeping it tidy. Because I don't have time during the week. I come home and yes, I'm the type of guy that throws his socks on the floor. Yeah, I get to it. You know, maybe in the morning or before I go to bed at night, I'll do a quick cleanup. But on the weekends is when I run from room to room and try to make it somewhat presentable, because you never know when you're going to have a guest. Yes, I'm back out there. So, dating. Okay, as you guys know, we're winding season 1 down. Season 2 is just around the corner. I've begun recording that. And I had a phone conversation tonight with a new woman that I've been chatting with for the past week. So it's been going well. You know, I've had in this past, 6 months, 8 months, I've had a dozen conversations, texting or phone conversations. Maybe went on 2 or 3 dates. I told you about the one a couple of weeks ago. I'm just going slow, and nothing spectacular is coming my way, but it's all good because it's podcast research. I'm getting practice. My number one problem in getting back out there is my trust issue. I just don't trust what anybody tells me. If you've been listening to the season 1, basically, you know that I was burned pretty badly in the last relationship. So I just texting somebody and then getting the chance to speak to them on the phone, in the back of my mind at all times, I question the validity of what they're telling me. It's just a reaction. It's, I don't want to label it PTSD, but I don't trust anybody. Because the ex-girlfriend sat on my couch for months telling me her story and the horrors and even some of the good stuff she told me. In hindsight now, I don't believe any of it, or most of it. And it was all made up, or it was gaslighting, or it was whatever. So, starting to get back out there again, and again, not looking for a relationship, but looking to talk to the opposite sex, in my case. And I'm a heterosexual. And I'm finding it difficult just to have a conversation over the phone. So the woman I spoke to tonight, we bonded on a few issues, some positive, good issues. So you know the term trauma bonding, and I'm trying to not do that. Trauma bonding, quickly, if you didn't hear the episodes, is when you first meet somebody and you swap horror stories of your last relationship, or horror stories of trauma that you've endured in your life, and then you bond over those. That's not the way to start either a relationship or a dating scenario. It's just not the way to do it. So I've been trying to keep positive or be positive when I'm talking or texting to these women. And this week, it was a good week. I matched with somebody, I don't know, today's Saturday, so it was like Tuesday of this past week. And within 2 to 3 days, there was quite a lot of common things we had in common. That was redundant. And so we finally agreed that we would like to take it to the next step and make a phone call. I dropped a bombshell on her this morning. She texted me good morning, and we were going to figure out what time we were going to speak on the phone tonight. And I haven't really spoke about this. No, I haven't spoken about it at all. You guys know that I'm in recovery. I'm in sobriety, and again, I'm not making this podcast about that, but it is part of who I am today. And so if I'm dating somebody or getting to in the pre-dating phase, at some point I have to let them know. And there's a lot of debate in my AA community and in my circle as to when you drop that bomb. Yes, I'm an alcoholic in recovery. Do you tell them before you meet? Because if it's something they're not comfortable with, or they've had a prior experience with somebody in the program and it didn't go well for them and they don't want to, that's my viewpoint, is that tell them early, because if they're not comfortable with it, don't waste your time. Don't waste your time. And that's kind of what happened today. I dropped the bomb in a text this morning. I said to her I was going to go to an AA meeting this morning, and I missed it. Although I didn't say AA, I said a meeting. And then I realized she probably doesn't know what I mean by meeting. So I said, oh, by the way, did you notice that in my profile it says that I don't smoke and that I'm sober? So I just came out and said it. I just said I'm in AA and I have 8 years sobriety. And it almost, then the crickets came. There was no response for 20 minutes. And I knew, my gut intuition told me that she was mulling it over. Even though when I spoke to her tonight on the phone, it came up and she said, oh, no, I was shopping and I didn't read the message till later. And that might be the case. But her response to me was, oh, it's good that you keep going to meetings. And listen, folks, my intuition has been fine-tuned since what happened in the last relationship. And I'm getting really good at reading, not body language, text language. When you text somebody, it's the frequency in which they answer, the words they use in which they answer. So I got a instant gut reaction that this woman was slightly uncomfortable with what I just told her, that I was in sobriety and in recovery. And it came up in our phone conversation tonight, and sure enough, she has an ex-husband who was an alcoholic, and then the next guy she dated was also an alcoholic, and she had a lot of problems with that relationship. So when she heard that I was in recovery, which you would think most people, if you're going to hear that the guy that you're about to date or go on or getting to know has 8 years of sobriety and he takes his sobriety seriously, I would think you would embrace that and go, oh, at least this guy's safe. I know he's not a drunk. I know. Look, hey, you date a sober person, you got a designated driver. We can go out to dinner. She can have 3 glasses of wine, and I drive home. It's a win-win. But anyway, I brought it up in our phone conversation, and she admitted that at first she was taken back by it, but I explained to her that it's not an issue, and that I made her feel comfortable about it. And so I think we're going to have a video chat is our next date. Yeah, so it's 10 o'clock at night, and I just wanted to jump on and do my weekend rant. This is the new format, okay? Even though we're still in season 1, designing the podcast for season 2 to be slightly different. What I'm going to be doing is this weekend the weekend rant is getting a lot of good feedback. It seems that you folks in the reviews and in some of the emails I'm getting, you'd like when I come on here and do this. Because I'm honest and vulnerable, and I'm telling you like it is. I'm telling you my journey, and you're coming along for the ride, and I'm not bullshitting, and I'm laying all my cards out, and it seems to be what everybody wants. Anyway, so I'll be doing that every weekend. I have been putting out 2 guests a week. It's too much. It's overload. I've been getting negative feedback, that's too many guests. They want to hear me, but I need to bring guests on because I am not an expert in this. The concept of my podcast is romance, relationships, and dating. And I suck at this. Obviously, is why I started the podcast. I cannot sustain a relationship. So I'm being open and honest and telling you guys I need help. But in order to do this, I can't. This podcast can't be all about me just coming on here and talking about my dates. Half of you might enjoy that, but you're not going to learn anything unless I come to you with some real life experiences and say, don't do this and don't do that. But the dating world, between if your age is 20 all the way up to my age, it's going to vary in so many different ways. There's so many dating apps and so many dating styles and so many. I heard a podcast just the other day that the political aspect of what's going on in our country, and it has been going on, I'm going to say it, between Trump and Biden, and there's such a divide in this country. So these dating profiles are very specific. If you're a Trumper, don't even contact me. And or I've seen the opposite. If you're not into Trump, don't even contact me. So we'll get into that at some point in season 2. We'll talk about the political aspect of this. So we're going to do 1 guest a week and 1 rant a week. I call these rants. All right. Whatever. Solo episode where I come on and I talk to my audience. So, okay. So let me get to some reviews. The weekend rant will include recent reviews. So since last week, I have received a bunch of new reviews. And I can tell that by going to my platform, but some of them haven't posted yet. But I will read you 4 that posted. So this one came in from Team Courtney and Anna Banana. Okay. And I got 5 stars. I love the intro music so much. It's bringing me back to the late 90s grunge, and that's what's up. As far as the topic, this is something I genuinely like to learn about. Gaslighting, red flags, and everything in between. While the host gives a piece of his own heart. This is great. I love this. Thank you, Team Courtney and Anna. I'm assuming that's a podcast. You know, if you've been listening, you will hear the beginning music has changed. I'm trying out different intros. And apparently you're noticing. People are commenting on it. So thank you. I'm happy that somebody actually acknowledged that they like the music, because I've worked very hard on trying to find the right type of intro. And I know if you listen to the beginning of this episode, I think that's what she's talking about. Next one. This comes from Cassandra Deanne. Authentic and engaging. By the way, these are all 5 stars. Doing awesome, Andrew. I think the world could use a little bit more authentic expression. Conversation that is open, vulnerable, and not hyper-scripted. This podcast delivers that plus. This podcast delivers just that, plus killer opening music. Love it, new follower. Another reference to the music. So thank you, Cassandra. Wow. Okay, I guess I picked a good intro. This next one is from Krista Michelle. Raw, vulnerable approach. As someone who has similarly experienced gaslighting and narcissism in a prior marriage, I can relate to many of the things that Andrew shares. His authentic approach is refreshing. I'm on my own podcast journey and applaud anyone who takes the time, energy, and resources to do this. It's hard work. Word of warning to parents. I picked up an episode that didn't have the E for explicit next to the title, since my young daughter was in the car with me and quickly had to turn off due to the 5-6 F-bombs Andrew suddenly dropped. This is definitely not a show to consume with children around. And yet you gave me 5 stars. Thank you, Krista, and I apologize. Yes, she is correct. There is, when you post an episode, there's a little checkbox that right there that says you can either check explicit or not. And I think it would probably be in everybody's best interest and my just to put an E for every episode, whether I drop an F word. And if you did hear last week's rant, yes, I went on a tear. So I apologize for that, Krista. I went back and fixed that. I did put an E next to that episode, and I apologize. Thank you for bringing that up. Folks, this is what I need. I need you guys to tell me what I'm doing right or wrong. And thank you for the 5 stars, because you could have easily given me 4 because of that. But I learned a lesson. That's what I need. This, last week somebody mentioned that they gave me 5 stars and says Andrew's really open and honest, blah, 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 blah. But he's not quite there yet. He's not professional. And I admit to that. And I know that I'm going to make these mistakes along the way. So thank you for, this is what I need, folks. I need you to, if you're listening and you're enjoying, but you hear something that, like the F-bomb and I didn't warn you, let me know. Thank you. Last one for today. 5 stars. Hey, Jay. Okay. That's the name. A lot of great internal facing info. There's no shortage of mental health or self-improvement podcasts. This show takes it a bit of a different approach and makes those topics relatable and entertaining through stories and anecdotes that really hit home. Highly recommended. Wow. Thank you, hey. You guys, I'm speechless. I'm starting to get these reviews. You're really touching my heart. And, I like I said last week, I'm never going to go viral. This is not going to ever become something that is talked about anywhere on social media, in a big way. I hope within a year or two it gets to a point where it's a mainstream podcast. But I got a long way to go, folks. But you guys, you're helping me. We're going through this together. So I thank you. From the bottom of my heart. This is, I started this with a broken heart, and I wanted to come on here and just blast the X, but take ownership for staying and blah blah blah. And along the way, I just never thought that this would go anywhere. I really didn't. And here we are now. I don't know. This approaching 60 episodes or something like that. And I've already started season 2. So recording it anyway. And just thank you guys so much. All right. It's late. And I have to be up to play tennis at a godly hour tomorrow morning. My partner wants to play at 8:30. And I like my Sunday mornings to sleep in, but not tomorrow. Okay, so, hey, thanks for listening. And folks, please, I need your help. If you know anybody that's single or just out of a relationship and heartbroken, please, word of mouth of this podcast is the best. I've been getting a lot of people telling me that they've been telling their friends to listen. And yes, reviews and all of this helps. I need to spread the word. I have not been attacking my social media as much. I just don't have the time. And Kelsey had a personal issue she had to take care of, so she couldn't get to my social media this week. So you might not see a big presence on my social media for a couple days. I'll try to do some tomorrow. Whatever, I'm rambling again. And it's late, and I got to go to bed. So, Anonymous Andrew, saying goodnight, and please, if you have to make that choice, if you need to make a choice, please think about it and choose wisely. Until next time, ciao.